Hey everyone, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Thank you for the hearts. We are taking a little bit of a break from our soul transmissions. Going to take a little break from that, but we will get back into it, of course. But today what we're going to do is we're going to have a look. Yes, you saw an orgonite one there. Yes, you did. We're going to look at pendulums today. This is something that we have needed to look at for some time now. So today is the day to do that. Hey Yasinya, how you doing, my darling? So this is going to be in a few parts. Yes. So here are the parts that we're going to look at with pendulum diagnostics, because it's a really important subject for light workers, for people who are trying to sort of like upgrade their intuition, how to activate the use of their energy. So in part one, it's the introduction. Yes, you as well? Okay, that's very cool. In part two, we're going to do a demonstration of the function. Hi, how are you, Farkan? And then we are going to decode pendulum behavior. Yeah, and then last but not least, in part four, we're going to look at pendulum cleansing, connecting and maintenance. Okay, how does that sound for you? So if you are interested in this, or if you have any of your community that may be interested in this, then now is the time to share it onwards. And of course, if you're not following, do that too. Excellent. So here we go with our first part. So first off, what is a pendulum? What is a pendulum? It's actually a tool that allows us to determine the energetic state of a situation or an item or a location. So you can use it virtually to determine anything, okay? So what in more detail is it that we can, use it on? We can use it for physical issues. Hey, how you doing? We can use it for physical issues. For example, the body or our organs, yeah. We can use it to check ingestible items such as vitamins or supplements or even medications that we might be wanting to buy or to take. We can also use it for our supplements too. So before you go ahead, it is interesting. Before you go ahead and buy any, products that you're not sure about, especially ones that you're going to eat, drink or take, then you can definitely energy test them with your pendulum. I'm going to get into the how-so very shortly, Yasinya, in the how-tos. So for the moment, we're just looking at what it is that we can use it upon. Now, another interesting thing that we can use them for is for verbal statements or questions or thoughts or emotions, right? So let's say, for example, like now it's daytime, okay? So I can put up my pendulum and say a statement such as, it is nighttime. So if the statement is false, then the pendulum is going to spin anti-clockwise, yeah? But if I say, for example, it is day, and it is day, then the pendulum will swing clockwise in order to confirm that. So you can do it in the form of a statement, or you could also ask a question, yeah? For example, let's say tomorrow I was going to fly out somewhere, take a trip, okay? So I could say, tomorrow I am going to fly. So if that statement is truth, then your pendulum should swing clockwise, typically, to confirm that you are doing that. Or if you say, for example, am I going to fly tomorrow? And you are going to fly tomorrow, then again, your pendulum should swing clockwise. If, for example, I was to say, tomorrow I'm going to stay home, but in fact I was going to fly out of the country, then your pendulum should swing anti-clockwise. Now, of course, that's very well all good to say, but it also takes a lot of practice, or maybe for some of you, not so much practice, I'm not so sure. So in order to master the pendulum, you will have to play with it. Okay, hi Hamad, how are you doing today? So we can also check thoughts or emotions, yeah? So for example, if you are feeling anger, we could check the frequency or the intensity of the anger. Yeah, very interesting. So let's just say, for example, that you held the anger, I don't know, let's say you held it in your heart, okay? So you can make a statement saying, checking anger in heart, and then just allow the pendulum to diagnose the state of the situation. So according to how fast it's going, how small or how large the circumference of the circle is, if it is a circle, because it may not be, it could be making some other movements, it will determine the state and the intensity of your anger. So this is why I like to use the pendulum instead of other energy diagnostic methods, because not only does it give you yeses and nos, it also gives you the intensity as well, and a lot of other types of information. And we are going to actually get into that, okay? So those are some of the things that we can use it for, but we can also use it for vibrational or energetic states too. So, for example, I could be checking things like my energy centers, yeah, or my energy fields, or the state of my soul. How do I do that? Simply by holding the pendulum in the right hand and then placing the left hand over the energy center in question, okay, over the energy center in question, or the energy field in question. Now, you can't place your hand exactly on an energy field. Well, you could possibly, but you could say for the word, you could say, for example, the word etheric field or emotional body, okay, and then have your pendulum connected to your statement, and it will give you a measure of that. Or you could actually check it by, you know, if you can determine energy fields with your hands, you could put where you feel a certain energy field resonates, how far out it is from the body, and you can check it that way too with your pendulum, okay? Or you can actually determine the status of your soul, yeah, the soul status too. And again, you could just make the statement, what is the status of the soul? I wonder if I telepathically asked you a question, if it would be transmitted. Perhaps it would, yeah, it can be if we kind of zoomed in and focused on that, yeah, but that's another exercise. Now we're talking pendulums. Hey Linda, how are you doing today? Lindita, excuse me. So another real fascinating way that we can use a pendulum is on locations and on places, yeah? How are you, my darling? So this I use really a lot when I'm doing like energy clearings, like in a house and stuff. So you can map out things like, yeah, they're amazing, aren't they? Pendulums are amazing. So you can map out, for example, north, east, south, west, where I've done energy tests on people's locations, homes, lands, cars, offices, whatever, all around the world without having ever seen them before. And I can determine with my pendulum where the culprit of negative energy may be in the specific location in question by using a north, east, south, compass sort of thing to map it out, or just pure intuition. So there's so many ways of using your pendulum, okay? So we've looked at what it is that we can use it upon. Now we're going to look at how does it work, okay? So the way that it works is that, first of all, each and every pendulum has its own consciousness. It's like a living being, okay? Now, we have had cases where pendulums and their owners just won't become friends. So it means that the pendulum isn't for you. So when you are choosing one, before you buy one, it's really important that you feel it out, put it in your hand, maybe, close your eyes for a moment or two and see if, that's the guy for you. It's very, very important to do that, yeah? So that's the first thing. And it must be cleared also. Once you've bought it, you need to cleanse it, you need to energize it, and you do need to connect it to primary source so that it isn't being influenced by your own thoughts and feelings or what it is that you want it to do. Otherwise, the reading will be a false one. Okay, it's quite straightforward. And in the final transmission, I made mine, the connection was immediate, of course, because you gave birth to it. Absolutely. So yes, it does have a consciousness. We must connect it to primary source, otherwise it will be influenced. Now, just real quick on types of pendulums, what type should I go for? So I've already showed you a metal one, okay? We have a crystal version, okay? No, way beyond our galactic sun. No, just primary source of all of creation is what I'm referring to. So this is my amethyst one, yeah? And here we have an organite one, okay? You see all the bits. Let me just stop that so you can see all the wonderful bits in there. There it is. I don't have crystal shops here, so bought the point online and was afraid I would. Yeah, there's always a risk of that. But when you clear them, though, then it's very possible that you can reconnect with that. Okay, so those are the different types. Now, I love them all, but what I found over many years of experience, I've been using them since about 2010. I love the crystal ones, but I drop them so they can break very easily, okay? My Mimi Organite is on my forehead. What's the last one called? This one's an amethyst, but the last one is an organite, yeah. So crystals tend to break, as beautiful as they are, and they have very specific properties, so that's the beauty of those. The advantages of an organite is that they don't need cleansing, they self-cleanse, okay? So that's the beauty of those, but they can break. Can you see? I've dropped mine and already broken the tip on that one, but still they are effective and can be used even if that has happened. But with crystals, sometimes they don't. Never seen those before? I hear they break for a reason. Yes, they do, and no, they don't. Yeah, sometimes they break because their job is done, and sometimes they break simply because, you know, accidents happen. Yeah, so both is relative. So you can always check out what is the reason for the, you know, the breakage of your pendulum. Now, my personal favourite, guys, would be, yes, it is, it's very strong. The organite, that is. My personal favourite will be the metallic, okay? And the reason my favourites are metallics is because they are the most durable, yeah? Now, this one I bought in 2010 and nothing has ever happened to it, and I've dropped it 3 quadrillion times, okay? And they're heavy as well. They're heavy. And I like the heaviness because it means you cannot cheat. Okay, and that's very important. I see some students sometimes, or, you know, some clients where I see, you know, a bit of the old wrist movement going. You know, your wrist does have to be absolutely still when you use your pendulum. And I will go into the usage in one of the next transmissions about the usage. Okay, so we're going to close this one now and we'll go into a second one. And the second one is going to be a demo. I only have one. I haven't bought or made another one because I feel like I would be disloyal to her. That's fine. That's how I was with mine. But then because you use them such a lot, sometimes you really do, you have to move on or just stick with you know, it depends how you feel about it. It's a very personal thing. It's almost like a pet or a friend, you know. So go definitely with what you feel about that. So let's end this transmission and go into a demonstration. If you're ready, then hang around. See you in a tick.